Here are 3 questions I hope to answer in this video. The main question is, how was the Earth formed? The second question is, how did life get to Earth? The final question is, how did water get to Earth? To answer these questions, we must take a good look at the Earth and take a good guess on how it was created, because, of course, man wasn't around to witness the making of the Earth. How was the Earth formed? About 4.6 billion years ago, what our solar system is now was just a cloud of dust and gas. After the sun was made, all the remaining dust started to form little clumps or tiny planets because of gravity. The solar wind blew away lighter elements like hydrogen and helium from the closer regions, leaving only heavy, rocky materials to create smaller planets or rocks like Earth. All the gas was washed away to create gas giants like Saturn and Jupiter. This was how moons, asteroids, comets, gas giants, and planets like Earth formed. Earth's rocky core formed first, with heavy elements colliding and binding together. Heavier material sank to the middle, while the lighter pieces created the crust. How was the Earth formed? Part 2. While the Earth was being formed, it was hit by a big rock, or asteroid, which separated parts of the Earth, forming the Moon. The planet's magnetic field probably formed about this time. Gravity caught some of the lighter elements and gases that made up the planet's early atmosphere. As the Earth started to cool down, the crust formed. The flow of the mantle, or lava, beneath the crust causes plate tectonics, the movement of the large plates of rock on the surface of the Earth. The collisions and frictions of the plate tectonics created mountains and volcanoes which spewed out gases into the atmosphere. Although the populations of comets and asteroids passing through the inner solar system is sparse today, they were more abundant when the planets and sun were young. How was the Earth formed? Part 3. Collisions from these icy bodies, the comets/asteroids, likely deposited much of the Earth's water on its surface, answering the second question, where did the water come from? The Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, the right distance from the sun so that water stays as a liquid and does not freeze nor turn into steam or evaporate easily. Water was, and still is, essential for life to exist on Earth. Remember, all that you've heard is just the most likely of many theories. Man, of course, wasn't around then to record this data. How life was formed. A theory, Part 1. Of course, nobody really knows how life was formed. Some people believe that God created the earth and life in 7 days. There are many religious theories of how life came to be, but one of the most likely scientific theories is this. Soon after the earth was formed, about 3.5 billion years ago, it was likely there were simple chemicals such as water, carbon dioxide, oxygen, ammonia, and methane in the environment. Chemists discovered that when they simulated the conditions of the early Earth with these chemicals, and applied energy like electric sparks to simulate lightning, and UV light to simulate the sun, an interesting thing happened. After a few weeks, they found more complicated molecules. Importantly, they found amino acids, the building blocks of proteins and all life. How life was formed. A theory, Part 2. This process of making amino acids didn't just happen once, it happened over and over again for millions of years with no great result. It is thought that entirely by chance, a molecule was created that could copy itself. This means that the molecule can keep making copies of itself without having to be randomly created. Occasionally, these molecules copied themselves with a random mistake, causing a random mutation. Sometimes the random mutations could be an advantage to the molecule, causing it to be less vulnerable to harsh conditions. These molecules became more complicated. For example, some molecules could grow in
armor of atoms around itself, causing it to have an advantage. When this molecule split, the copies made over time, the more advanced molecules could become structures of molecules, with the main molecule in the middle. The main molecule, scientifically known as DNA, is the code for the rest. These structures of molecules will survive longer and better than the less advanced ones, which die out. This process is called natural selection or evolution. These structures eventually evolved into plants, algae, bacteria, and into intelligent life forms, living things that have a brain, and eventually into people.